Welcome to the shit show.
Hey there, Producer Mel.
Uh-huh.
Look over your computer real quick.
Uh-huh.
Look over. Not your best effort. I'm joking. Settle down, you. Good Lord. Just giving you a little shit.
That was easy.
You know, sometimes that's how we roll, babe. It's okay. Hey, you. Look back over. I love you. Good girl.
Why don't we just go ahead and start the fucking show, okay?
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey!
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely brief bias recap of the rest of English football as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, still hanging out, is our good friend and fellow toffee, Mr. Brody. Alan, how you doing, good sir?
Still hanging in there. It's still Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, on the ones and twos, we have Producer Mel. How you doing over there, Producer Mel?
It's still February.
Well, it's February.
We're just pointing out obvious shit here for you, Sam.
It just started.
Well, you know what? When it's not my best effort, I will not give you my best effort. This is why I need to watch it live, just to see the little vein that comes out on his forehead and dances around.
We're recorded at the U Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get podcasts and, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there are as many ways that you can. Producer Mel, do you think you can get this one right?
All right, so if we're doing a live show, you chat with us right there in the chats. Pretty easy. Otherwise, send us an email at dufootballshow@gmail.com. I'm back to saying the .com part of it. And send us a message. We're on all the socials. We actively check Facebook, Instagram. TikTok is our favorite right now.
Yeah, doing a lot of stuff on TikTok.
But we are everywhere at DU Football Show.
Very good.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show.
Or give you the more extended.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such you see in their dollars and a bag of fun. Monday.
I think that's far enough.
Tuesday. All right.
We aren't drinking the exact same shit because Mr. Brody, much like Mr. Geckel, I know we constantly compare the two of you, but you are similar brethrens in the love of good beer. And you brought a bunch of fun stuff. We talked about something already on Soundcheck, which was fantastic. We're going to have something here, and then we're going to have a bunch of stuff on Injury Time. So what do we have for our next beer, good sir?
Oh, yeah, we are. And for the record, Geckel and I often talk about what we're going to bring, and there's like a lot of like, it's good, it's banter, but it's like, what are you bringing? What am I bringing? Oh, wait, you're bringing something from. So we try to make sure that we're bringing actually a nice selection here.
Well,
but
you come from the nicer beer region of Maryland.
But he works like literally right down the street from me. So
that's right.
Actually, I was pissed because he brought a lot of stuff, I think, last time from Sapwood, which is like my number one.
Yeah, but you
It's
brought elder
everyone's.
pine.
Oh, elder pine! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, the Sapwood. He's even said that's one of his absolute favorite breweries, and he just wanted an excuse to go there. He was like, "I'm buying fucking everything from him."
Sapwood and Idiom actually is one of mine, and that was the first one we had. But this one, a rarity for me, is outside of Maryland.
Okay.
So last week I was down in Virginia for work. I was in Richmond, and in Richmond, which also has an excellent beer.
Very good beer
reputation there. One of the best breweries I've ever been to is called The Vale down there. Among spearheads, it has a great reputation. This is called Hornswoggle. And
I was not expecting the texture.
Okay, yes. So, because I can't see, and I'm old, I can't even see how much percentage it has. I have to actually turn on my light here and see what it is, but it is. I'm pretty sure it's a chocolate milk stout. There we go. 7% alcohol by volume. They told me when I got it, when I had a sample there, they told me it was a one of the few stouts they have that is not barrel aged. So
I don't like barrel aged.
Right.
I like this.
There you go. So it's just a classic chocolate milk stout, 7% alcohol by volume. I think the 4-pack cost me $18.
It is nice and thick without being heavy, and the texture plays into it because you could have convinced me it had one of those nitro cartridges in there when you poured it.
Oh, it
It's a
definitely
little
has
bitter.
a creamy.
It's a little bitter.
Just that's what you want. It's from the stout part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitter chocolate more so than a milk chocolate, which really plays into this beer.
Yeah. I don't know if there's lactose in here or not.
The mouthfeel is like a nitro pour. That is wild.
You love mouthfeel, don't you?
It is.
I'm going to stop talking. Y'all both mean to me.
No, settle down. You'll be all right.
I'm just spitting facts.
But Graham's not here, so now I'm the butt of the jokes.
That was a joke?
Oh damn. The nose on this, what I like is that there's not a sweet chocolate nose to it. It's actually got a little bit of kind of a woody, almost barnyardy, to use a wine description, kind of nose to it.
The can art on this thing is like a masterpiece. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It looks like a ram or a wolf or some kind of animal here.
Bigby.
There you go.
No, that is quite exceptional.
Oh yeah, that is a very angry ram
There you go.
with the horn.
I've never had a
So
bad beer from them.
whereabouts is Vale? Is that part of like Brew Ridge Trail out over there where like Devil's Backbone and all of those guys are, or is it
No, the Vale is in Richmond. So
Okay.
there's a neighborhood called Scott's Addition. In Scott's Addition is so Star Hill is right there.
Right.
There's another one that I'm blanking on the name of some of them, but there's like a whole neighborhood in Richmond where there's probably like this. I'm gonna say like 8 to 10 breweries, all within walking distance of each other.
Right.
And it's really a nice little area. Richmond, I've only been there a couple times for work, and it actually is pretty nice. I mean, it's one of those places where I would actually consider moving to.
Oh yeah, Richmond's a great town, and the reason why I say that is because they have very specific regions, right? So you get into Northern Virginia, and there's a lot of really cool little craft breweries all in that area.
Yep.
And then you get out to more of that kind of Western Northern Virginia, which is closer to like the West Virginia line. You think like Leesburg and all that, and then there's another round of like really fucking good breweries around there. Then you get down to Richmond. There's a cool little scene in Richmond.
Yep.
Then it's not so much Charlottesville. There's a few in Charlottesville, but then you get out to that whole Brew Ridge Trail where it is nothing but fucking breweries. It's wineries and breweries, and there's a few distilleries. Like that's out where like Ragged Branch is, and
Kind of like Charlottesville, sort of out that way.
just outside of Charlottesville. Yeah, just outside of Charlottesville, right as you get into the start of the foothills and the mountains, right out there. And there is a ton. That's where, specifically as far as bigger names go, that is where Devil's Backbone is, and that's where Bold Rock is.
Yeah.
But there is 20 breweries out in that area.
Yep.
And then you have Northern Virginia Distilling, who made our list this year. And then you have Ragged Branch out there, too. So it's like... And Virginia's, it's pockets. And what's beautiful about it, it's not like they're real far away from each other. It's like you said, you go into a section and it's like... They're all in one spot.
You could do like a walking tour of like 5 or 6 breweries. I've actually been down to, and I'm going back this summer to the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area for my daughter's dance competitions. I do not dance, for the record. Just want to make sure everyone knows that.
That's why I called you a dance bomb.
Yes, I am. I've been to a couple of the breweries down there, and also excellent. So like I think that the description of them is like little pockets, whereas here in Maryland, where we are, they're kind of spaced out. They're spread, and yes, there are, in the major population centers,
Like Baltimore, there's a bunch
Baltimore,
around each
or
other.
even in Columbia, where
Right.
where I am, there's a few, but it's not like they're much more spread out. Whereas I feel like in Virginia there are these very distinct pockets,
Very close to one
high
another.
concentration of breweries. But it's a great scene, and this beer
Really good.
They specialize.
That's really good.
Yeah, they specialize, I think, in more of the hoppy ones, which is not my cup of tea. But but this is one of the good ones.
Love it. All right, and what else should we always do when we're drinking?
Drinking legally and responsibly. Which we are definitely doing.
Yes, absolutely. So, would it surprise you guys to hear that this was not, the Forest win, was not the only 7-0 on the books this weekend? David Geckel, or as we like to refer to him, Geck, his team Leeds beat Cardiff City 7-0 in an absolute walloping. He sent me about 1,000 texts just letting me know how well they did. Willie Nato came on as a sub, on for like 15 seconds and puts it in the back of the net. They absolutely rolled. Now, Sheffield did get a win, but Leeds still maintains a 2-point lead on them, which is real good. Now, the surprise, though, would be Burnley ended up with a draw. They drew Pompey 2-2, and then Plymouth got themselves a rare victory. They beat West Brom 2-1. So, along with Luton and Derby, Plymouth all sit in the drop currently, which, again, yes, Derby County just came back up, but Derby County has typically been a part of the furniture in the championship, and Luton is doing that thing we all kind of fear, which is the great drop. Like, I think the most recent one to remember would be Sunderland, right? When the whole Sunderland Till I Die show that came out and everything, they went from Premier League to championship to dead last in the championship, right down to League One, and they were in League One for a while until their success recently back in the championship again.
But I mean, you also have Wigan, Reading. Those are two recent examples that come to mind that they're still stuck down. I don't think either of them are. I think
they're both in League One right now. We're going to talk a little bit about Reading. We've got a regular listener and a fan of the Annapolis Blues as well. So I hang out with Colin out in the parking lot. Cool. He's a massive Reading supporter. So anything I get from that I give you about Reading information
comes from him.
Is 100%.
Cool.
What is the old radio adage, Mel? You don't have to. If you like to come on, you can. But the old radio adage that good old Don Geronimo used to say: if you're stealing it from me, it's been stolen twice, right? Nothing wrong with a good radio bit and taking it from somebody else, especially when they're willing to help you with it. Now, the other big one here is, sorry here. Here we go. There is a group of 4 teams that are all just outside of the playoff spots right now. Now, I did not check the score today. I know Borough and Sunderland played today. So if you're already frantically going on the phone, please feel free to figure that one out.
So Sunderland looks like, so it was Sunderland again. Yes, Sunderland 1-3-2.
Okay,
Borough.
so all right, so Borough is then
late
still right within 2 points, but it is a group of 4 teams vying for the final playoff spot. Borough is who currently has it, right? And then you have Norwich, Bristol City, and Sheffield Wednesday are all within 2 points currently.
So it looks like Blackburn Rovers is in 5th, West Brom is in 6th.
Oh, okay, there we go.
And then you have Borough, Norwich, Bristol City, Wednesday. I mean, it's
and
close
they're
all the way down.
Down to Wednesday. They're all within 2 points of West Brom.
Yep.
So, and West Brom, it's funny, they beat the ever-living hell out of Pompey last week, but then turn around and lose to Plymouth, which was a bit of a shock. You said you wanted to give some thoughts on Coventry, good old new Fat Frank's landing spot.
Yeah, well, just behind, and it's actually a great segue. You must be good at this.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
So just behind that pack that we talked about, Sheffield Wednesday at 42, Coventry is at 41. They're doing that well because actually, I mean, I know we love to dunk on Fat Frank here, but they've won their last 5 games, which includes an FA Cup win in penalties, but 4 in the league to lift them up. I mean, they were in
a bad way. Yeah. They were in a bad way.
But they've beaten, I mean, workman-like wins, all 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0 over Bristol City, a team in the pack, Blackburn Rovers, a team above them, Watford, which is right around them, Swansea. I mean, these are wins that you would, if they're going to lift themselves up into the consideration. These are wins that they have to have. I'm not going to say I pay attention to them, but they have a couple of interesting players. They have Hodge Wright, U.S. forward, and they have Ella Sims, who's a former Evertonian. So I kind of, follow them. I don't have any particular affinity for them.
Right. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, I'm not going to root for Pompey if they're playing Everton. But Graham and I went to Fratton Park. We had fun. Yeah. We've always had kind of a soft spot for them. It also helps that our boy Kenny is a huge Southampton fan, so just to slag him off, it's kind of fun. Doing that contrarian, I'm going to be a Cowboys fan just because you're a Commander Skins or an Eagles fan kind of thing. Just to get a goat, right?
And look, with Frank, I mean, I know we jest and everything, but I mean, he will always be a part of the Everton fabric, of the Goodison fabric for that 3-2 miraculous
We're
win.
all going to remember that one.
Right. And so, even though it was not really times we really want to remember, that game was him and his, say what you want about him tactically, that one game, if we can just take to parcel out, and maybe even just the second half of that game, 45 minutes, those were some of the best and most exciting and fun 45 minutes I can remember as an Everton fan.
Well, and couple that too, that summer we got to meet him. He was very gracious, a wonderful guy.
Yes.
Stood out there, talked with all of us for a while. Yes. Just a really, really lovely human being, but he can also fuck off. So, because at the end of the day, he's still fucking Chelsea, and he got that job twice, and he didn't deserve it either time. Birmingham City have grew their lead at the top of the table with a win and a Wickham draw. Wrexham got a much-needed win, and now they've separated themselves. It's interesting. They're 4 points behind Wickham, but they're 4 points in front of Huddersfield. So really what they need to do, the goal for Wrexham, don't put yourself in a playoff spot. Get automatic promotion.
So the top three?
Top two. Top two. League Two, it's the top three.
Yeah.
So League One, 4 teams go down. League Two, 4 teams go up. But in this scenario for Wrexham, get the automatic promotion.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the playoff because the playoff never goes well.
That's right. And looks like the O's are actually right there in that last playoff spot.
That is funny. I was just about to get to them as well because the O's are sitting in the last playoff spot, and then you have Charlton just behind them, along with Reading, who beat Bolton 1-0. Reading scored on their first penalty called for them this entire season.
Sounds familiar.
Their ownership is a gentleman. Remember when you're talking with Chinese or Korean or Japanese culture, well, Korean and Chinese specifically culture, last name first, second name second, but his name is literally Da Young.
I'm sure he's never heard any only the good jokes.
But he is regrettably run this team into the ground. It's why they're in League One, and this is one of those kind of teams that frankly is occasionally in the Premier League, but is part of the furniture in the Championship. Yeah. This is one of those teams that should not be in League One. Right? When
I first started watching Premier League, Reading was there.
Right. That's what they are. And they have they did make a couple of moves. They got a multi-versatile player from Burton Albion that should help them, kind of a veteran guy. And then they also sold a player, but that player came right back to them on loan for the remainder of the season. The key thing is that they really need to make a sale. And Da Young has decided to take the Mike Ashley route of selling a club and has become a real stick in the mud and wants to make his money back. And it's been a bit of a bit of a thing with the way it's all gone down. What it's looking like is the league has the FA has started to threaten him of, look, asshole, get your shit together or else we are going to take it away from you. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot more to it. I mean, it's like evicting someone, right? Just because you threaten to do it. Still going to take a few months. There's squatters' rights. There's all that kind of shit that goes along with it. But the FA is finally starting to look at him and go, for real, dude, honestly, sell the fucking club. Stop it. Stop what you're doing. So hopefully that gets somewhere soon. And like I said, it's interesting because there's a lot of familiar names in and around it with like Charlton, and Bolton isn't that far off. And but I would say, I mean, all things being equal, sorry, Colin, I would love to see the O's in the championship.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, your thought.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say I remembered. So I have a little Wrexham just this past week. I mean, and I'll be honest. I have not really watched Welcome to Wrexham. I appreciate the concept, and yeah, sure, I'll kind of root for them. But interestingly enough, so this week after the Everton win, I commented on one of the prolific Evertonian Twitter accounts, and I got a response. I guess there was a typo in my response. I got a response from a guy named Wayne Jones. I don't know if you're not. I mean, it's not
I know exactly who Wayne Jones is.
I was like, Wayne Jones. Why does that name ring a bell? And I click on his owner at the Turf Hotel.
Yep.
Whoa. So there you go. So maybe now I'll pay more attention to Welcome to Wrexham and pay. I mean,
Oh, he's very prominent in the show. And I haven't watched a lot of the third season, but the first 2 seasons, he's very, very prominent in it. And
so I don't know if that means like he's like maybe he's kind of quietly an Evertonian.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, because why would he follow a random, Everton fan account?
Yeah, that does seem odd.
So, yeah.
No. Next up, we have going on to League Two. Wassel finally dropped some points. They have been on an absolute tear in League Two with a draw, but they still maintain a 7-point lead over now Doncaster. Essentially, 2nd through 8th is divided by a handful of points, but Doncaster, you would know from Everton beating them in the League Cup when they were dead last. After that, they were still hanging around it. By about December, they went on an 18-game unbeaten run. They made the playoffs, and they actually lost in the playoff final. Pretty incredible. And so they're sitting in 2nd place right now. So a little bit of a soft spot rooting for them. But honestly, the thing that we're really paying more attention to is the bottom of the table for League Two, because it's just teams we know and like and people we love. But both Notts County and Newport County and Harrogate got wins, and unfortunately, Tranmere and Accy both lost. So they switched spots from 19th and 20th and 21st and 22nd. So now Accy and Tranmere are 21st and 22nd, and those two moved up. But Morecambe got a big win. I'm sorry, Morecambe.
Thank you very
Shrimps
much.
out for Morecambe.
That's right.
Got a big win, 4-2, and they move above Carlisle, but they are still 3 points behind Tranmere and a pretty decent goal differential as well. I was starting to get a little worried that Morecambe and Carlisle are probably dead men walking. It's.
Well, it is League Two, so they still probably have about 3,225 games left.
Roughly, thereabout, right in that area. And I did want to take a quick second just to check in on the National League, because we haven't really looked at them very much. And really, I'm just going to talk about the 3 teams at the top. You have Barnet, York City, and everybody's favorite vegans, Forest Green Rovers, in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, respectively. And because we like to do it on this show, get your prediction for the League Cup. We have Tottenham hosting Liverpool, and I know Newcastle is definitely hosting Arsenal. I just wasn't sure about the other way around. What do we think? Who do we think is going to do what?
I mean, I know Tottenham has the advantage, but I mean, that was a different Tottenham team when they played and got that 1 goal advantage. It was at home. This time they're playing at Anfield. I mean, Liverpool could probably play a second side of second stringers, which I imagine they will not. They may make some. I think they'll make some changes. But I still think you're going to see Salah in there. Probably be like Darwin Nunez, and I think they will win 3-0.
Yeah,
maybe
I tend to agree.
They're just too good, and they're at a point now. Maybe you can say that Tottenham's win over Brentford this week comes at a good time that gives them a little bit of a pep in their step. But the talent disparity is just too vast, and the defense is in shambles.
The Arsenal and Newcastle match is more interesting because that is such a Jekyll and Hyde for both sides, right? Because if anybody has Arsenal's number, it's fucking Newcastle.
Yeah.
and it's at St. James's Park with a 1-0 lead.
2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, that's right. 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
You figure they should know how to handle this situation,
But
they've looked like dog shit lately at St. James's Park. So I wonder if they haven't looked well at St. James's Park because they're focusing all their attention on this, right?
Yeah.
Winning a cup.
yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's hard not to look at this game and think that Newcastle is going to get the job done. I mean, up to.
Yeah, but Arsenal need a trophy just as badly as Newcastle do right now. Like, this is going to be a really good game to watch.
Of the two, even though it's interesting, both. I mean, even though this game is one that on paper I would think would be the more evenly balanced of the two. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think this one is probably the one to watch. I just think Liverpool has way too much for Tottenham. So like,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of different dynamics at play. I think both coaches have proven themselves. Not just with Arne Slot, just knew these. I'm sorry, with Arteta and Howe. I mean, they've established themselves as top coaches. I think it'll be really interesting to see how they set up. See if they bring in any of their new pieces. That's that's the other element. Unless they played for another Premier League team, I don't think off the top of my head, I don't think there's any transfers who have come in from
That
the Premier
aren't
League.
cup committed, that can play.
Exactly, or cup tied. So, but it'll be interesting to see. Like theoretically, they could any of their new assets from outside the Premier League who may have come in. It'd be interesting to see if they use that.
It's funny, and this is a complete jab at you, and but it's also the truth. This round of semifinals is exactly like the championship games in the NFL, where everybody wanted to see a rematch of 91 in the Bills and the Commanders, except for the people that live in Philadelphia and Kansas City who wanted to see Philly, Kansas City.
In fairness, I want to see the Bills and Eagles. I mean, I hate Kansas City.
Right. So, but in that same regards, I think everyone wants to see Newcastle Tottenham because, frankly, that will be an epic final because it's two teams. To equate it to the championship and the championship playoff game, it's like two teams that understand the severity of if they lose, and they try their damnedest not to lose, not to necessarily win. And it ends up being cagey and ugly. But what we're going to probably end up happening somehow, it'll be Liverpool wins the cup, and it'll be like, why the fuck nobody wants to see that?
No, nobody.
Going to be like Kansas City. Nobody wants to fucking see that.
Last thing.
Yeah. Well, that is going to wrap it up, everybody. Any parting words, Mr. Brody?
I have nothing on my mind.
Excellent. Well, we're going to move on to injury time, which we're going to not preview the weekend's action because there's nothing to preview. We might talk a little bit about FA Cup and who all we're playing and that kind of stuff. But other than that, we're going to talk about our fantasy, which isn't even completed because there's still a game to play. But we have a bevy of beers, and that's what we're going to talk about because we're going to drink a bunch of them. And should you want to find injury time or just support our show in general, best way to do that is patreon.com/DU Football Show. For $5 a month, you get all of our extra content.
That's $5 I spend a month.
Thank you very much for supporting the show, sir. Till next week, everybody.